For generations, the idea of a stable job was pretty much the bedrock of a successful life. But let's be honest, that foundation isn't just cracking anymore. It's completely crumbling. Today, we're diving into a really powerful argument that the whole concept of job security isn't just changing, it might already be gone. So let's break down why.
So let's just get right to it. The big question right up front. Is the very idea of job security a total myth in today's economy? Is it just some old-fashioned idea from a different time that we're all, for some reason, still clinging to?
The source material we're looking at today really doesn't pull any punches. It basically says, hey, this debate, it's over. And the answer isn't coming from some stuffy economist or a business school professor. Nope, the answer is the pink slip. And that's a pretty bold thesis, right? It really sets the stage for everything we're about to talk about. Okay, so to really get what's happening now, we have to take a step back and understand the promise that used to exist. This was the old school social contract, the one our parents and probably our grandparents built their entire lives around.
It was actually pretty simple, almost like a handshake deal. You, the employee, you gave your loyalty, your time, 40 years of your life to one company. And in return, that company gave you permanence, a stable career, a pension, maybe that gold watch when you retired. But here's the absolute crucial point. Corporations just unilaterally tore up their side of that deal.
So what happened? What broke that promise? Well, the answer is that the entire reason for layoffs has been turned on its head. We're in a whole new era now, where layoffs aren't this last-ditch effort to save a failing company. Oh no, they've become a regular, strategic tool for successful ones.
And the first piece of this puzzle is something we can call the profit paradox. You've seen this, right? A company announces these mind-blowing, record-breaking profits, and then, sometimes in the exact same week, they announce they're cutting thousands of jobs. So what gives? It's because your job is just a line item on a spreadsheet. And cutting that line item, well, that gives the stock price a nice little short-term bump. Your loyalty, unfortunately, doesn't really factor into that equation.
And then there's the second driver, and this one is a huge permanent shift. The AI accelerator. This isn't just about cutting costs anymore. This is about completely re-engineering how work gets done. Roles that used to absolutely require a person are now being enhanced or just straight up automated. And what that means for you is that your security is no longer about holding on to a specific role. It's about your ability to adapt faster than the tech that's coming to replace it.
But here's the thing. This death of job security, it doesn't just hit the people who get let go. It has this really toxic, corrosive effect on everybody who's left behind. There's actually a name for it, Layoff Survivor Syndrome.
Just imagine you see your coworkers, people you know are talented and work hard, get walked out the door for strategic reasons. It changes you. You're left with this weird mix of guilt for still having a job and this constant anxiety that you're next. Your emotional investment in the company? Poof, gone. So what's the logical thing to do? You get quiet quitting, where people do the absolute bare minimum, and loud networking, where they're basically building their escape plan on company time. The trust is just completely shattered.
And all of that leads to what might be the single most important lesson of the modern workplace. Any loyalty you pour into a company beyond what you're strictly paid to do, well, that's not an investment in your future. It's a risk. The only person who is truly 100% responsible for your career security is you.
Okay, so if the old way of doing things is totally broken, what do? What's the replacement? Well, the answer means we have to completely redefine what security even means. It's not something you find on a corporate ladder anymore. It's something you build yourself from a collection of your own personal assets.
This slide here really lays out the new playbook perfectly. The old myth was that security came from a good job at a stable company. The new reality? Security is a strong, personal brand that you can take with you anywhere you go. The old plan was all about that 401k match. The new insurance policy is having diversified income streams. So if one client, your job, fires you, your whole ship doesn't sink. Your value isn't your fancy title or a corner office anymore. It's your adaptable skill set. That's your personal vault. And finally, and this is a big one, it's not about loyalty to a company anymore. It's about being fiercely loyal to your own independence.
All of this really points to a massive shift in mindset. You have to stop thinking like an employee and start acting like the CEO of your own career. A company of one we'll call you Incorporated.
So what are the rules for running this new company? First, and this is huge, you have to frame your job as a client. It's not your family, it's not your home, it's an important client, for sure, but still just a client. Second, you are always constantly building assets you own, your personal brand, your skills, your network. And third, the end game here is financial freedom. The goal is to get to a place where losing your biggest client is just an inconvenience, not a full-blown crisis.
Let's just let that sink in for a second, because this one idea changes everything. Your job is merely a client. A client relationship is professional. It's based on delivering value, and it has a clear beginning and end. It is absolutely not based on some fuzzy idea of blind loyalty or a promise of permanence that, as we've seen, doesn't really exist anymore.
Which brings us right to our final thought. In this new world, real security doesn't come from having a safe job. It comes from having the skills, the network, and the financial cushion to be able to confidently walk away from any job at any time. So the question I want to leave you with is that you?